Now at 5, how a new law in Missouri is making diagnostic breast imaging more affordable. Plus, a ceremonial passing of the American flag through all 50 states makes its way through Joplin. And
former President Trump now a target in another federal investigation. I'm Cristian Benavides in Fort Pierce, Florida, where the first pre-trial hearing in the classified documents case took place.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A new Missouri law requires health insurance companies to pay the full cost of diagnostic breast imaging. This is KOAM News at 5. Under that new law, patients won't have to pay a copay or deductible. Governor Mike Parsons signed the bill, which will take effect on January 1st of next year. According to the CDC, breast cancer is the second most common cancer among women in the U.S. In Missouri, for every 100,000 women, 123 new breast cancer cases were reported in 2020.
Not infrequently, I have patients that are unable to go through with the recommended studies, and cost being the most commonly quoted factor that I have in that. So with the new law requiring insurance to cover 100% of the out-of-pocket costs for some of these studies, I believe that we'll be able to diagnose more breast cancers at an earlier stage.
Dr. Emert recommends annual mammograms for women aged 40 and above. Early detection of breast cancer not only improves prognosis, but also provides a wider range of treatment options. We're going to hear the story of a breast cancer survivor tonight at 9 and 10. A 64-year-old Seneca, Missouri woman is no longer charged with murder after the prosecuting attorney dismissed the charges against her. Police say in December of 2021, Suzette Anderson killed David Wesley Stotts. Anderson maintained it was self-defense, saying Stotts was trying to attack her. She was originally charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action, but now the Newton County prosecuting attorney, William Lynch, has filed a motion to dismiss the case because he believes it was indeed a case of justifiable self-defense. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it turned out to be a super hot day for us today. Most of us right around 100 degrees during the afternoon, if not a little bit above, except for our northern counties where we've had some clouds and some on and off showers throughout the afternoon, as a little bit of a front is just kind of draped in our northern counties. We do still have some very light showers once you head up toward Stockton Lake, but everybody else is dry. Everybody's going to stay dry. But look at the temp difference. 85 in Stockton, 100 in Carthage. We have 100 in Joplin. Sedan is sitting at 101 degrees. Then you factor in the humidity. Look at these heat indices, 105, 106, 107. So super hot out there if you're going to be outside through the evening hours. We drop back only to about 80 later on tonight. When are we going to cool down? We'll look at that here in just a bit.
See you soon. The Nation of Patriots tour made its way through downtown Joplin. The motorcycle tour is a ceremonial passing of the American flag through each of the 50 states. The intention of the tour is to honor all U.S. military members and their families and aims to meet the needs of each of these brave men and women.
Growing up in a military family, I'm very familiar with veterans and just everything. I mean, I grew up in Army since I was born. So just to be able to help where I can now is just a huge impact as far as for me personally.
The tour will continue its journey Friday morning as it goes to Kansas. On the same day a pretrial hearing was scheduled in former President Donald Trump's classified documents case, comes word the Justice Department might be close to indicting the current frontrunner for the GOP presidential nomination on other charges. Cristian Benavides reports from Fort Pierce, Florida.
Former President Donald Trump posted on social media Tuesday that he received a letter informing him that he is a target of a Justice Department investigation into efforts to undo the results of the 2020 presidential election.
I believe that we're looking at days, potentially weeks, for the next federal indictment of the former president of the United States.
Special Counsel Jack Smith's office is leading the investigation, looking into attempts by Trump and his allies to block the transfer of power to Joe Biden in the lead-up to the January 6th riot. The letter usually informs the target that he or she has a right to appear before the grand jury.
It is the best and clearest indication we have that this investigation is really nearing its final moments.
Allies of Trump, who currently leads the field for the Republican presidential nomination, called the latest development politically motivated.
If you notice recently, President Trump went up in the polls and was actually surpassing President Biden for re-election. So what do they do now? Weaponize government to go after their number one opponent.
The news of the target letter comes the same day the first pre-trial conference was held in connection to the case against Trump relating to his handling of classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate.
The former president pleaded not guilty last month to 37 criminal counts, including the willful retention of national defense secrets, making false statements, and conspiracy to obstruct justice. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Fort Pierce, Florida.
Walt Nauta, Trump's aide and co-defendant in the documents case, surprised many by appearing at today's pre-trial conference. The former president did not. President Biden today welcomed Israeli President Isaac Herzog to the White House. While the meeting reaffirms America's commitment to Israel's security, Herzog's position back home is largely ceremonial. The head of that country's right-wing government is Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. President Biden did speak to Netanyahu over the phone yesterday and offered to meet later this year. Still ahead, a new drug aimed at protecting infants.
A new drug gets FDA approval, and it could help prevent the leading cause of hospitalization among infants. I'm Jared Hill with what parents need to know.
And later, what new data reveals about the current state of mortgage rates in the U.S. Topping today's Health Watch, the FDA has approved a medication to protect babies and toddlers from the potentially dangerous RSV, a virus which hit Americans hard last fall. Reporter Jared Hill has more.
A new weapon to fight RSV, respiratory syncytial virus. It's a common virus that's the leading cause of hospitalizations among infants in the United States. The makers of the newly approved single injection Beyfortus say it can prevent RSV in children up to 24 months old for an entire season.
Clinical trials reduce the risk of hospitalization among these very young infants by over 80%.
Each year, more than 2 million children younger than 5 contract RSV. Up to 80,000 of them are hospitalized, and as many as 300 die.
There are certain groups that are at highest risk, so infants under the age of 2, but really the very youngest of infants. In the first couple months of life, they have weaker immune systems, they have smaller airways, and then pregnant women themselves are at higher risk, and the elderly.
RSV season usually starts in the fall and peaks in the winter. Last season started early in the U.S., and a severe surge overwhelmed hospitals. An FDA advisory panel recently recommended approval for another tool, a vaccine for pregnant women to protect infants against RSV.
You'd be giving it second or third trimester. The idea is the mom makes the antibodies and she gives her baby antibodies through the placenta. And this is actually how women protect their babies against a whole host of things for the first 6 months or so of a baby's life.
The FDA is expected to approve the vaccine from Pfizer in the coming weeks, so it could be available in time for the upcoming RSV season. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
New RSV vaccines for older adults are also expected to be available this fall. Alzheimer's disease experts are revamping the way doctors diagnose patients with the memory-robbing disorder. Under the proposed guidelines, a rating scale will assess disease progression, similar to the different stages used in cancer diagnoses. The guidelines also eliminate the use of terms like mild, moderate, and severe. Cancer experts have unveiled new guidelines to assess the needs of older patients before prescribing chemotherapy and other treatments. The updated recommendations, published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology, calls for a geriatric assessment, which includes evaluating the physical and cognitive abilities of patients 65 and older to guide treatments. New research shows Black patients with implantable cardioverter defibrillators tend to be significantly younger than white patients and also have a higher rate of cardio events than even with that device. The study from the University of Rochester also found the risk of death for Black patients is twice as high despite having an ICD. The study's authors say the results indicate Black patients should be monitored closely and treated as early as possible. And that is a look at today's health news. A little later, Microsoft is launching a new AI chatbot. We're going to tell you how they say it's more secure for your data.
Plus, the heat sticks around at least one more day. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, definitely turned out to be a super hot one for us today. Temperatures all the way up there, right around 100, 101 degrees as we worked into the afternoon. Heat indices definitely much higher than that. But it looks pretty good. Nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just to the southwest of Seneca, Missouri. Look at our rain stats. Even though we've had some rain, look how far we're behind. We've only had just shy of 17 inches of rain. Average is almost 27, so we're over 10 inches below where we should be for this time of the year. Check out the temps. We've got a front just kind of draped in our northern counties, so that's why it's significantly cooler once you get up towards Stockton. 97 in Lamar, 100 in Joplin, 96 in Anderson. Independence is sitting at 99 degrees. Here's 7th. Here's Rangeline sitting smack dab at 100. Heat index 108. So if you are going to be out this evening, still drink plenty of fluids. Our humidity is up there. We got dew points mid to upper 60s to lower 70s. So that puts us anywhere from that sticky to soupy range. And it's still going to be very humid once again as we go into the daytime hours on Wednesday. Heat indices right now, 103 to pushing 110. Miami Grove sitting at 109 degrees. Actual temperatures slide back through the 90s, 80s. We only bottom out right around 80 for us later on tonight. All right, we got some clouds. We've had some showers and thunderstorms. Central Missouri kind of clipping our northeastern counties. Most of us have been dry today. You can see a few showers once you get up towards Stockton Lake and then up into St. Clair County. Besides that, all the rain's been central, southeastern parts of Missouri, kind of stretching up toward Kansas City. So this will affect over the next couple hours our far northeastern counties. Besides that, the big heat dome. So you got the monsoon out west, and this thing has been producing just tremendous amount of heat from Phoenix all the way over to Texas, Oklahoma, and then we're right on that edge. And we're going to have the heat as we go through the next couple days. All right, so by morning, we're sitting kind of upper 70s to near 80 degrees. This front just kind of hangs out all day. So our northern counties, not quite as hot. There is a very slight chance we may get an isolated shower, maybe about a 10% chance, but most of us dry tomorrow. Still a little bit cooler, but still upper 90s to near 100 by tomorrow afternoon. Watch this front, kind of hangs out, sinks a little bit farther south tomorrow night. So this is going to give us some showers and thunderstorms, at least scattered. So we're looking at 1 a.m. on Thursday morning. We can go to about 6 o'clock Thursday morning, some scattered showers through the morning hours as this front continues to sink farther south. Then Thursday afternoon is looking pretty good. But our temperatures, they're going to start to cool down as we head toward the weekend. All right, in the morning 80, high temp 98, 99 degrees by the time we head into the afternoon. So another super hot day across the region. 99, we're going to go for official high, 95 on Thursday. Look at Friday. Morning thunderstorms, high temp 84. So that's a significant change, near 90 on Saturday. And then here we go again, triple digit heat most of next week. But at least we get a little breather late this weekend to the weekend.
Yeah, we're going to need it to prepare for that string of possibly 5 consecutive triple digit days.
That's not going to be fun.
No, it won't. Thanks, Doug. As the wildfires in Canada continue to blow hazardous smoke south into the U.S., air quality remains a top concern. Federal and local monitoring stations are helping to advise Americans on when to limit time outside. Data is collected hourly from thousands of monitoring sites nationwide. Based on today's readings, the EPA estimates more than 60 million people are facing forecasts considered unhealthy for sensitive groups. Coming up, as mortgage rates hit their highest level all year, we're going to have tips for those looking for a new home. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Microsoft is launching a new AI chatbot that's supposed to be more secure. Tech giant says Bing Chat Enterprise is designed so businesses can rest assured that potentially sensitive information is being shared safely. With the tool, users' chat data isn't saved, sent to Microsoft servers, or used to train AI models, they say. The chatbot is being rolled out to all users in the next 30 days, but companies' IT departments can manually turn it on now. As summer temperatures soar, so are housing costs. New data released this month shows mortgage rates are the highest they've been all year, nearly 7%. So what does this mean for home buyers, and is there relief in sight? Reporter Jen Sullivan has some tips for those on the market for a new home this season.
Amid a sizzling real estate market, mortgage rates are soaring to red-hot levels this summer. Rates in the U.S. are pushing towards 7%. That's the highest level so far this year, according to the latest data from lender Freddie Mac. The higher rates are, the less home people can afford. But that's not slowing down determined home buyers.
There's still plenty of demand out there for new housing. And in fact, we sort of have a housing shortage in the country.
That low inventory and high demand means housing costs are still stubbornly high, despite new data this month showing inflation is easing. Experts expect inventory to stay tight for the rest of 2023, saying existing homeowners are refusing to sell their homes after refinancing and locking in low rates during the pandemic.
A lot of housing economists are calling that the golden handcuffs. Homeowners are just staying in their homes.
So what can you do if you're in the market for a home this season? 1. Mitigate your expectations. Experts say if you're waiting to see lower mortgage rates, it might not happen this year. While the Fed paused interest rates last month, economists predict they'll likely raise them again this month and several other times this year. 2. Work on your credit. Credit delinquencies are on the rise, and banks could adopt stricter lending standards for borrowers. 3. Enlist a successful team. Do the work to find a great lender and realtor and explore borrowing options and see if it may work to buy now or wait until next year.
Even as the average mortgage reached its highest level this year last week, mortgage applications still ticked up a bit. That's according to Mortgage Bankers Association. The latest economic data shows consumers are spending more money despite ongoing inflation worries. Shoppers at U.S. retailers was up in June for the third straight month. The Commerce Department reported that retail spending rose 0.2% last month. That's still slightly lower than what economists have been expecting. They had predicted an increase of 0.5%. Taylor Swift is certainly living in her era's era, all while cementing herself as a musical icon. According to Billboard, Speak Now, Taylor's version, is the pop star's 12th album to reach #1. That's the most by any female artist ever. The previous record holder was Barbra Streisand, who had 11. Swift is also the first living artist in almost 60 years with 4 albums in the top 10 at the same time. She's also the first woman and living soloist to have 11 albums concurrently charting on the Billboard 200 chart. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, new research into the benefits of hearing aids to help keep older adults stay cognitively sharp. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on the Nation of Patriots tour as they stop in Joplin. Plus, a gas line explosion in Springfield leaves hundreds of people in the dark. And the Fairland, Oklahoma High School football team has a brand new head coach. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. 54-year-old Australian man, this guy is back on dry land after a harrowing 3 months at sea. The crew of a Mexican tuna boat found Timothy Shattuck and his dog, Bella, in a catamaran 1,200 miles from land in the Pacific Ocean. Shattuck told an Australian news outlet his time at sea was hell and he needed rest, but he's otherwise okay. Exactly what happened? Well, they don't know all the details, but his electronics equipment was knocked out by a storm, so he lost all communication. He was out there for 3 months, eating sushi, as he says, raw fish and rainwater, sustained him and his dog for 3 months.
Whatever makes you stay alive.
Yes, and he's in relatively good shape, I guess.
Be careful if you are going to be outside this evening and then again tomorrow. Hey, Sam, hit that space baller for me as our temperatures high temp, 99 tomorrow, 95 Thursday.
See you at 6. Let's make it a great evening.